Beautiful people. Beautiful people. Beautiful people. Welcome back. Let me welcome myself back to another episode of Who Can Relate. We're still rolling. Bear with me. We're still rolling. I have a list of things to catch you up to speed, give you a little update on the world of Justin Davis, aka JD. Okay, if you're new here, which something tells me a lot of you might be, let me go full gambit for you. Again, my name is Justin Davis, aka JD, and this show is all about people discovering their higher selves through adversity, vulnerability, with a big underline under that word, especially for men, and self-love. Because self-love isn't selfish, damn it. It's important. It's necessary. Okay. We usually start off with a quote. I'm going to get into that a little bit later on when Shay joins the show. But just for now, for opener, I wanted to come on and just say what's up, say what's good. I hope everyone's doing well out there. It's been a little while. It's been 2 months almost, maybe. And it's good to be back. I am, full disclaimer, a little bit under the weather. So if you hear the sniffles throughout, it's your boy just trying to rally through here. Okay. You clicked on this episode for a good reason. Yes, we will talk all about it. I myself and my wife, Shay, were on Red Table Talk. Had the honor and privilege. I'm still in disbelief, honestly. It's been almost 2 months now since we've been on there, and it's like crazy. So anyways, we're going to get into all that. We're going to share our individual experiences, our experience together, and a lot of other things. Okay, a couple of things, again, in order here. I want to shout out a few members of the Who Can Relate community who have been so gracious and purchased merch. And in case you didn't know, the merch, not this, the Who Can Relate merch is out now and available worldwide. And I'm super excited. That's part of the reason why I've been on this crazy hiatus. I've been in the lab creating and just coming up with the designs and going through different wholesalers and just trying to make it all right. And I feel like I finally did it. At least we're off to a good start. But again, I just want to shout out a couple people here who took the time to show love and show support per usual. Okay, here we go. Shout out to Josh, Marlene, Tori, Laura, Alexis, Sarah, Jeff, Marcy, Amber, Nadia, my boy RP, Sarah, Elsie, Monica, my boy Ray, Paige, Lauren. Shout out to Lauren. Everyone knows Lauren Morrison. Angel, my boy Ty, Lana, my boy Troy, Marquise, Lana again came through, Kersey, Vanessa, Shariah, just to name a few. I just wanted to make it a point here to say thank you for making all this hard work creating this merch. It's so worth it. There was a little bit of doubt in my mind, like, what if no one buys a fucking thing? Like, all this for nothing. But you guys came through per usual, and yeah, thank you again. Okay, moving on. A couple of just personal life updates. Again, I think it's been 2 months since I've seen you guys, so let me just give you a little bit of a background here. I've been traveling a lot. In fact, I took 19 flights in 6 weeks. I don't know how many cities, 9 or 10 cities, and it was wild. It took a lot out of me. I actually got sick during that time as well. I went to North Carolina to give my very first ever in-person speech. Super honored. Shout out to Micah Barnes, who hooked that booking up for me. She is actually one of my consultation clients and believed that I'd be a good fit for this project, and it was incredible. That was such a great experience, and so honored that the sisters who brought me on under their foundation that they created for their mother who committed suicide, I didn't take that lightly, and just really grateful for the opportunity. I went back and forth to Chicago quite a bit, checking up on the family and especially my daughter, who is a full-on teenager, cheerleader and all. So got to see her cheer, got to see her in action, and it was really cool just to, obviously spend that quality time with her. Went to Toronto to surprise my boy for his birthday and scared the shit out of him, me and Shay, as Shay's the known pranker in the family. And matter of fact, I'm gonna play this clip right here. You should watch this.
Oh wow! Don't do that. Surprise, man. This is major. Surprise.
What did you say?
Okay, so if you didn't watch that and you listened to it, to all the audio listeners out there, I encourage you to go at least just watch that clip. That was hilarious, but I'm sure you heard it and you got the idea. Let's see. What else? Consultations have been keeping me super busy. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I got this influx of clients, and over the last couple months, and we've been rolling. I've met some incredible new people who are just on the mission to be their higher selves, and I'm all about that life. So whatever I can do to help along their journey, I am honored to be a part of it. I was also on another TV show. Your boy's been busy, I'm telling you. I was on another TV show called Married at First Sight. I'm sure plenty of you have heard of it. It is Lifetime's #1 show on their network. And I was on the after show. So I had two of the wives that are on the show and me and then the host. And we dove into some really cool stuff. I tried to give my 2 cents, try to throw out some gems every now and then. And I think it was successful. It was my first time on TV, non-modeling industry, which was very interesting. So I flew home late Sunday night. I got in, I don't know, like midnight by the time I got to bed. And then Tuesday, I had my Married at First Sight show. And Monday night, I woke up sometime in the middle of the night, and I was in just a full-on sweat. I had a fever of 101, 102, I think. Body was aching, and I'm like, no. This is, again, the night before my first ever TV appearance. Please don't tell me this has happened to me right now. Like, I never get sick, and this just, but I knew, I knew from wiping my immune system with all my nerves for the speech, that long travel back and forth, getting in late, not getting the proper sleep because I was up in the middle of the night being sick, whole thing. But I feel like I killed the Married at First Sight thing. I feel like it went really well. Shout out to everyone who showed love and support for that as well, and reposting and DMing me and texting me and calling me. I was just super relieved that I was able to get through that. And so all this leads me to say, here we go, Red Table Talk. We're on lunch for Married at First Sight as we're filming. And I turn on my phone, I check my email, and I see this subject line say, Red Table Talk, time sensitive. And I don't know who the sender is. I don't recognize the name. And I'm like, what is this? Like, it's got to be some type of scam. So I look at it, and it seems legit. It's got like the Red Table, like actually this exact logo stamped as the signature, signed off from the producer. And I'm like, let me just see. I'm with Shay. I'm like, babe, look at this. What do you think? And she's like, just email him back. See what happens. Email him back. Because the email said, we're really interested in having you and your wife possibly on Red Table Talk coming up here in the next week or two. And we would love to discuss further. So I hit him back and say, yeah, I'd love to, hop on a Zoom meeting and we can talk. The next day, Shay and I hopped on the Zoom meeting with about, 5 or 6 people. And even up until that point, before they let us into the meeting, I'm like, there's just something not right. Like, there's got to be a catch. I'm waiting for someone to come out like Ashton Kutcher. And lo and behold, that screen popped up. All these producers and these employees of Red Table Talk popped up. And I was like, oh, wow. I'm looking at Shay like, we're here. This is real. We're doing it. And we had a really cool, very organic, beautiful conversation. It was about, I think it was over an hour actually on Zoom. And we talked about everything. You know, it's funny because Shay and I have had meetings before for this type of work. And, you know, everyone always starts off the same way. And they're like, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your relationship. And for Shay and I, we're like, you got to give us more than that. Like, where do we start? You know, how long do we have? How, you know, whatever. So that threw us off, but we started rolling. And the overall umbrella for Red Table Talk was going to be about trauma bonds. I'm a little familiar with trauma bonds. Shay at the time really wasn't. And so they informed us a little bit more about it in layman's terms so we can wrap our head around it and then try to relate to it. And yeah, it just ended up just flowing. Again, it was over an hour. There were tears shed from everybody on the call, including Shay and I. And it was just deep. And by the time we got done, you could tell everyone in the meeting was like, oh, these guys are perfect for the show. So now it was a waiting game. And I think the week after we had the meeting, Shay and I are in Toronto again for my boy's birthday, and we got the email like, you're confirmed. Here's the date. And it's still hard to like wrap my head around it, but I'm gonna try to give you the feeling and the thoughts that were going through my mind and my body when I found out we were for sure gonna be on Red Table Talk. Number one, I wasn't nervous at all for myself. For some reason, I think being on Married at First Sight kind of disarmed a lot of those nerves and put me at ease. But I was hella nervous for Shay. As many of you know who are the OGs of the community, Shay has a stage fright situation, doesn't really like to share her personal life on camera, especially, you know, in front of thousands of people. In this case, it was about to be millions. And I was just like, oh man, my wife's gonna like, I'm so worried for her. So when I tell her, you know, I'm really excited, but I'm also like, how you feeling? You know, and she's like, yeah, this is great. You know, and I'm like, you know, we got this. Don't worry. You can lean on me. I got your back. Like, we're going to get through this. You're going to do a great job. We're going to kill it. And needless to say, she did better for sure than I could ever have hoped for. And I know she surprised herself too. And again, I'll have her on here in a second. She'll jump on and tell you all about that. But just so proud of her. And I couldn't believe, you know, it's like one of those things where I was watching somebody live out and go through their biggest fear, one of their biggest fears in life, like live. And I just, in front of Jada and Gammy, you know, in Will Smith's house, at Jada's house, it was just like, this is crazy. And we got done. I'm like, babe, if you could do that there and with those people, the nerves are just gone forever. Like, there's nothing else that's going to make you that nervous. And I think she had like a little bit of just a blackout moment, like an out-of-body experience. But again, I'll let her tell you all about that. Yeah, so we filmed that September 2nd. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of behind-the-scenes pictures and videos, so I am going to roll that now.
Doing it, love. How you feeling, babe?
So nervous. We have a red table talk now.
We're doing it. You nervous, love?
No, I'm good. I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous at all. Nervous? What's nervous?
I was just gonna fit check, love. What you got, love?
Nervous.
You and me, babe. Me and you.
We is one.
Where you go.
I go.
What's the other one?
Come on.
Where you stay, I'll stay. Is that what it is? You don't even know.
Right.
So hot out there.
this month. Yeah.
September?
So it's hot for sure.
About 2 minutes away from me.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So, as you can see, it was a very big day for all the listeners out there. If you're not watching, I'm sorry, you can't really see the visuals. And yeah, so it was just a experience and opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, to say the least, obviously. But just to think that, for me personally, going all the way back to my first idea for this show. So you're talking like 2019, 2020, early 2020. And to have the episodes that I've had, to have the people that I've had on, to have the experiences and the hard conversations and the funny conversations and the lessons that we've all learned and so on and so forth. And then all to come to fruition where I'm sitting at the Red Table Talk 2 years after my show is released with my wife, talking about some of the most personal, deepest conversations we've ever shared on air. It just was like, someone pinch me, someone wake me up, because there's no way that this is actually happening. And actually, I remember I had this, I learned something recently about anxiety, and it was a very simple tool. And it said, if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling nervous, whatever, try to tap into your 5 senses. So I remember I was sitting at the Red Table Talk right when we sat down after meeting everybody. And I'm like, so my site, right? I'm looking at the Red Table Talk like, oh shit, I'm at the Red Table Talk. Like, this is crazy. And I'm tasting. I'm like, all right, let me just see what I taste. And I don't even remember what it was. Let me feel. So I'm actually like rubbing the Red Table Talk underneath the table, so no one, not on the top. Everyone thought I was crazy. I was under the table, just rubbing it like, this is the Red Table. And also part of my sight, for my sense, I'm looking at Jada, I'm looking at Gammy, I'm looking at Shay, I'm looking at, again, at the Red Table, like, we are doing this, like, this is real. And hearing just, hearing everything. I remember hearing like the cameraman take out, the battery and change it. Like, I was so hyper aware with all my senses. And yeah, I think that's all 5 senses. But I just took that opportunity mainly because I wanted to just remember that moment. I wanted to be as present as possible. And I was. For the full, I don't know how long we were rolling for, 50 minutes, maybe an hour. I wasn't thinking about yesterday. I wasn't thinking about the next day. I wasn't thinking about what we're going to have for dinner. I was just locked in. And that 50 minutes almost felt like 5 hours, because that's how much I absorbed every second of that time there. And it was just, again, an opportunity I'll never forget. I'll just always hang my hat on. Like, if nothing else comes from this, as obviously things are going wild right now for me. We were on Red Table Talk. We were on Red Table Talk. And I'm just honored, grateful, still kind of speechless, and humbled. I mean, like, a little bit of self-love, I guess, right now for me, and a moment of recognition. I'm a kid from Chicago. Grew up with a single mother. Basically no father. I had a child at 19 years old. I lived in New York. Moved back to Chicago. Made a lot of money. Was broke for a long time. Made a lot of mistakes. Lost a lot of really good relationships, friendships. Had God knows how many hard lessons. Years of therapy. Trial and error. Broke a lot of hearts. Had my heart broken. Had this idea, this crazy idea from a model, right? Because there's a whole stereotype there, to try to help people out. And I knew that there was no way in hell I could be the only one feeling what I was feeling, or thinking what I was thinking, or going through what I was going through. I'm like, I know there's people out here who can relate to me. And if they can't, well, then selfishly, I'm going to learn and I'm going to get the help. But if people want to join the, the ride along the way and grab some of this help and these lessons, then cool. And I did it. I'm doing it. So shout out to me, as I think the Snoop Dogg thing says. And lastly, I want to thank me. And that's kind of how I feel right now. I'm going to be honest. I'm such a humble person. I do not boast or brag on this show. If you're new here and you think I do, go back and watch the catalog. I do not. But this is just one of those moments where I have to celebrate it. I got to celebrate it because that was amazing. So, okay. One last final thing. Just an update, I guess, on season 2. It's coming to an end here. I got a couple more episodes up my sleeve, and I'm going to take a break. I want to just regroup. I want to rebrand. I want to just do things differently, mainly because, I've seen, while I've been on this little hiatus, I've seen a lot of content on Instagram, on YouTube, and when I see these, super evergreen topics or just, clickbait stuff like he cheated on you, now what? Or, just, I can't think of anything else right now. My brain is so foggy. But the point is, I don't want to be that. I'm going to try to rebrand. I'm going to try to restructure, come up with some new ways to give my 2 cents on a lot of things that I think are important and can help out a lot of people. I want to continue to learn along the way. And I just want to evolve a little bit differently, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be in the lab. I'm going to get my creative hat on and just really roll up the sleeves and get to work here for season 3. So, but in the meantime, I got a couple more episodes. Like I said, a couple really cool guests. Of course, I'll have Shay on because that's what I almost forgot to say this. Yeah, I'll say it. Sometimes I go back and forth of should I share this? Should I not share this? This maybe should be private, but I'm a very transparent person. But here we go. I'm going to have Shay on, and we are going to unpack what we've been going through personally in our marriage. It was not good for a while there. Actually, the biggest challenge and the hardest time in my 5 years of knowing Shay. We didn't know if we were going to make it. And this is not clickbait. This is real life. This is part of the real reason why I also took a hiatus, because I didn't know how to come on here, put on this smile and this fake positivity and optimism when I didn't know if my marriage was going to last. So we had to roll up our sleeves. We had to put in the work. We had to have the very difficult and hard conversations and try to pull ourselves out of this rut. And thank God we did, but it was hard there for a while. So that's also why I wasn't really on any type of social media for that matter. But again, things are on the up now. Thank God. Okay, so without further ado, you're going to see a whole switch if you're watching of angles and cameras and stuff like that. If you're listening, you're about to be blessed by the beautiful angelic voice that is the Portuguese lover, a.k.a. Shay, my better half. So let's get into it. Honey, welcome back. It's been a while.
Thank you. You're very Christmassy right now.
I know. I realized that in the intro too. But hey, we're a month away.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Okay, without further ado, let's talk Rabel.
Rabel? Rabel.
Tired.
Let's talk Rabel. Let's do it.
How did you feel the day of? Damn. Was that heavy?
I was so nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who knows me knows that those are all things that that make me really nervous.
Yeah. And that you don't do.
That I don't do, make me nervous. And I think the morning of, I was just not really trying not to be in my head about it. And then we roll up to the house. And when we got to our trailer, it started like, and then I could see like in our trailer we had where we could see all the cameras being set up and how many cameras, what the set looked like. And I think it started to like sink in a little bit. And at that point, I thought we were going to, the producer had said we were going to go, we got there at 10-ish, right?
Yeah.
The producer said, you guys will probably be going down around 11 or going down a little bit before 11, filming at 11. It'll probably take 30 minutes. So knowing that, and I was like, oh, it's going to be over before I'm able to like, really allow myself to get super, super nervous. And then the producer was like, she came back into the room and she said, actually, we're going to have you guys go later. Well, at first we knew that there was some sort of delay happening, right? Because 11 was coming. And then the producer came in and she's like, actually, we're going to save you guys for last. I'll let you kind of chime in there of what she said. Because I think I blacked out at that point.
Yeah. Well, even just like, we'll go back a little bit further from before we got there. On the way there, I, was trying to make light of whatever. I was just like, yeah, so, tomorrow we'll probably do this for lunch. I was like trying to take your mind, trying to distract you. And, I just knew you were trying to be a trooper and you were trying to pull through. And so as we're pulling into the house, right, this incredible, I don't know, what do you even call it? Estate, lots. I don't even.
For sure, estate.
Yeah. It's the biggest piece of property I personally have ever been on by far.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. If you guys have read Will Smith's book, he calls it, and it is called to this day, Her Lake. And there sure was a lake as you pull in, a beautiful lake, and just, it was insane. So I remember pulling in being like,
it was a compound.
That's the word, compound. Yeah. So we pull in, driver drops us off, and we have our own trailer.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know where we were going to be. I thought there was going to be like a green room or something like Married at First Sight. We'd have our own space. No. We had our own trailer, like names on the trailer.
Yeah.
There was snacks in there, the box water, which is, I believe, is Jaden's company. And then, so this monitor, which is probably like a 50-inch TV with all the different camera angles like you're talking about. And I remember thinking like, oh shit.
Like this is like a real production. Not that I thought anything less that it was going to be, it just like the reality of it started sinking in.
Yeah. And I got more nervous for you. And I was like, trying to be the hype man, trying to keep it light, trying to keep it, funny. And I just remember you being like
quiet.
Well, you would be in and out, like I would talk about something, you'd be there and then you'd be like, well, we're about to go film. Like I got to focus and you would just go back. And it was just,
I need to go into my shell.
Yeah, it was this roller coaster. So back to what you were saying, the producer, a couple people actually walked in. Hey, how you guys doing? You guys good? You need anything? Like, by the way, the team at Red Table, they were incredible. I mean, those people were so nice, very welcoming, warm, friendly, very accommodating, like throughout the entire process, actually, from the Zoom meeting all the way up to the day of filming. So shout out to them because they're great. So anyways, so we're getting greeted left and right. And the one producer comes in and she's like, so we know we have a schedule going,
Well, they took our lunch menu first. Remember when they took our lunch and then they brought it at 10 and I was like, when they told us that we were going to go on or go down at 11, I'm like, we're not going to eat now.
Yeah. Right.
And then I was like, I'm not going to eat. And then I'd rather just eat at 11:30 when this is all going to be over with.
Right.
Like counting down the minutes.
Right. And then lo and behold, the producer comes in. She's like, okay, so as you guys have seen, we're running a little bit behind schedule. And we're going to, push you guys back a little bit. We're actually going to have you guys go last.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay. Now, I had that reaction because of you. deep down for me, I'm like, bad. Like, I'm hyped because for me, I'm like, as a producer, I'm like, great. We have no time constraints. We're not worried about someone else has to come in after us. Like, I'm like, we can just talk and we can just chill. And we have more, one-on-one time with Jada and Gammy and everybody after the show, which is obviously what ended up happening.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, and I'm like, oh no, like now Shay's going to take this as there's way more pressure on us to deliver. Like, why are they saving us for last? Like, why can't we just stick to the plan, stick to the order? I'm very good with change in life. I'm very comfortable being uncomfortable. You, however, honey, the Libra in you is not.
No.
And so this was like, you're already on 10 with your nerves. You haven't eaten. You've barely drank any water. And now they keep pushing it back and back and back.
I don't think I've ever, like, when I think back of my entire life, I don't think that there's ever been a moment where I felt, and it wasn't in that moment that I felt that nervous. Like,
Right.
I did feel nervous, but it got worse right before we were getting on, where I literally was like, I don't think I could do this. Like, physically, inside my body right now, something feels.
And side note, for everyone who, like, if you're new here or you just don't know this about Shay is the biggest adrenaline junkie I've ever met in my life. Like, how many times have you went skydiving? Twice. Like, would do it again in a heartbeat, would probably bungee jump, like, loves any kind of roller coaster. Like, nothing really scares you. And the irony, because, like, I'm the complete opposite. I don't do roller coasters, mainly because I get motion sickness. I wouldn't skydive. I think that's just wild. And, so, like, and I'm totally comfortable on camera, obviously, modeling forever and so on and so forth. But I mean, here we are, Red Table Talk, which anyone would be crazy nervous. We're talking about personal traumatic experiences in our life, which most people, like I'd say 9 out of 10, don't share outside of their home. And I was like, let's go. Like, I'm hyped. And then here you are, like,
My worst nightmare.
sweating to death, like nervous, like probably forgetting your name.
Seriously, that's
Yeah.
exactly why I was like, before even going on, I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like the simplest question they were going to ask me, I was going to be like,
It's like me when I was my Blockbuster video when I was like 6. I got this Blockbuster video. I was in summer camp and shout out to Blockbuster. I'm showing our age right now. But anyways, and they were just interviewing you and like, what's your name? And I'm like, Justin Davis.
I never heard the story.
Yeah, I told you.
No.
Well, you'll know it in a second. What's your name? Justin Davis. Where are you from? Chicago. What's your favorite sport? And I was like, Michael Jordan. Because I was so nervous
But that was cute.
to be interviewed. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, obviously my
I do
favorite sport's
remember this
basketball.
right
My favorite, player is
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. But I was just so like, anyone else who would ask me that I would answer in a second. But so, yeah, I mean, I felt for you and I knew, you were showing up for me. You were supporting me in my movement. And I was just, so grateful and thankful that you're able to do that. And I just was like, my struggle, to be honest, was...
First of all, I feel nervous right now talking about
Are
it
you
for some
serious?
reason. I swear, I'm like, why am I feel
Okay.
like I'm
So
feeling...
just imagine Shay like on that day. But my dilemma in my mind was like, I want to protect and I want to provide. Well, protect in this case. I want to protect you. I want to make sure you're not going to be hurt. You're not going to feel any type of negative feelings. But I also didn't want to over talk, which I feel like you'd rather prefer me to do. Just
if I could have been a mute just sitting next to you, that would have been...
Yeah, but I'm like, I can't because it's not a good look, because you have so many valuable, great, brilliant things to say and so many of your own gems. And I'm like, I don't want to block your blessings, but I know you're going to be so shy. So I was just like going back and forth trying to figure out like how to balance it out. And I'll get to like how it ended up being, but moving on. So we go from the trailer, we finally get called on.
And it's like 1:30 at this point.
Yeah.
Like, haven't eaten.
Yeah.
I was
Barely drank
drinking water, but I was so like...
Yeah.
I felt like all of my water was going down to my hands, or all of my saliva was going out of my out of my mouth into my hands.
Yeah.
Like I was
A mess.
a mess.
And so we get chauffeured to the house from the trailer in this dope. I'll put up the pictures here. It wasn't a golf cart, but it was like a mini Bentley car kind of thing. It was really cool. Red Table Talk on it. And we pull up to the house. By the way, this is when we had our heat wave. I think it was like 100 and something degrees.
Yeah.
I'm in a blazer and a light sweater. I mean, you had something light on, but nonetheless,
But
it's
it was
just
long sleeve,
hot. Yeah. And so we're already kind of sweating getting there.
And nerves will make you sweat. So
Exactly. So now we're having the opportunity to be inside the Smith house. One thing to be on the property, it's another thing to be in the house. And that's when, again, still really wasn't nervous, but that's when the excitement like went to another level, because I was like, I am a huge fan of Will Smith.
yeah.
Like even before the book, definitely after the book. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, so on and so forth. And I love Red Table Talk. Like they were a huge inspiration for Who Can Relate. Remember when we first started?
We say we're the white tabletop because
The white marble tabletop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our kitchen table is white marble, and we were gonna like do
and
it
it's
there.
a circle too.
Yeah. And
Much
so
smaller. Isn't the table much bigger in person?
Red Table?
Yeah.
Mm,
I didn't think it was that big.
yeah. So, I'm a huge fan of them, and here we are in their home, which is just wild because their property is so big. They could easily build a whole studio outside of their home. Like they don't have to have people in there, and they film in their living room. So we get brought in to the house, and here we go. Like Smith family photos, like on the table. And I'm just like, this is insane. Like insane to me. And so then we get brought in, like you said, to the movie theater, because there's a movie theater in the house, of course. And you can see this hallway of posters, like as if you went to a cinema and you're walking, to your number theater, and you're walking past all these posters of movies coming out, and they were all Will Smith's movies.
Yeah.
So you're seeing Independence Day, Alien, 7 Pounds, like Pursuit of Happiness, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. That's why I wanted to name my son Jaden. I mean, just like so on and so forth. And it's all sinking. It's all surreal. I'm hyped. But now we're seeing the other couple, because they had all these other monitors now in the theater room, and we can watch and listen. We're right next door, but to the couple that went on before us. And I know it made you even more nervous.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Shout out to Brianna and Dre. They were the couple that came on before us. They killed it. They did a great job. And Brianna,
so good that she made me so nervous because
Exactly.
she had, first of all, she had a crazy story,
man.
and she really opened up and articulated herself well and really carried a lot of like the conversation. So here I am. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do.
And it's
that.
interesting because like you took Brianna's energy, like I have to duplicate that.
Yeah.
Like I have to talk as much as
I
she's
was like,
talking.
they're probably gonna expect me to really like.
Yeah. And I was like, babe, no, like this is her story.
Yeah.
She's got a lot to share. Again, the overall umbrella for this episode was trauma bonds, and Brianna had more trauma growing up than Dre did. And we each have our own trauma, but I think I knew, like, because we had all these pre-calls, and I knew, like, one of the main things the producers want to drive home was my traumatic experience with my mom. So I'm like, don't even worry. If anything, I'm going to be Brianna. Like, you can just chill. And
I was like, if I could be Dre,
yeah,
cool.
exactly. And so we're watching them, and I'm hyped, and we're, about to go on. We're standing right, like, outside of the living room right before we can hear them filming now. We're being, waited to be called on. And I remember you like grabbing my hand, like squeezing my hand, like, do not let go. We're about to go in. This is it. I'm hyped. I'm pacing. And Brianna and Dre, we cross paths with them for a second, say what's up. Great job, guys. And now we're walking down the couple steps into the living room.
And then wait. And then they were like, no, I'm not. It was like a lot of it was, okay, come here and then wait.
Yeah.
And I think all of that really like, because if we would have got there and filmed accordingly I don't think I would have had enough time to get as nervous as I
Yeah,
did.
for sure.
But with all of the hurry up and waits, it literally created more nerves. Just
Yeah. Well, you had more time for them to build up
Yeah.
and to overthink and second guess and self doubt. And yeah, the waiting game, when you're nervous, it's one of those things you just want to get it over
Yeah.
with.
I did. I just wanted
Yeah.
to get it over with. I was like, if we can just go, because I'm like, I don't know how much longer.
And that actually reminds me, when we were in the trailer before we went to the house, I remember you had that energy. Like, I can't wait to go eat pasta after this. We're gonna go
Yeah.
home. We're gonna chill out. And I was like, babe, don't have that energy, because trust me, from doing my show, the worst feeling I have after a show is when I'm like, oh, I should have said this, or I wanted to reword it this way. I forgot to bring this up, and I can't go back and do it. And that's a worse feeling than the feeling of nerves coming up, leading up to the episode. So I was like, you got to make sure like you're present, like let's lock in, you'll be fine. So anyways, fast forward back to us getting ready to walk down these stairs to the red table talk. And we turned this corner and Jada was there standing up. Everyone's standing up. Gammy's standing up. Cheryl Burke, who was one of the guests on there, she stayed on. She was standing up, and then the therapist was standing up too, waiting for us. And I can't remember the last time. Again, it's ironic because you've probably never been that nervous. I can count on one hand how many times I've been this excited. And
I love how your excitement was building while my nerves were building.
Oh, man. So, but I just, I know you obviously, and I know you behind the camera, off camera. And I'm like, the world needs to hear more of your mindset, more of your heart, more of your advice and just wisdom, basically is the word I'm looking for. And this is one of the biggest platforms for everyone to see it. So I was excited for you, even though I know you were more nervous than excited.
I was also nervous because I'm like, I know how much it meant to you. And I was like, what if I can't deliver? Like, what if all the behind the scenes stuff of what I have just doesn't come out? And when I was thinking of like the simple questions of her asking, like, so how did you guys meet? I felt like my mind was just completely drawing blanks. Like, what's your middle name? Like, literally.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I just wasn't nervous because I know, for who can relate, a lot of times you're nervous before we start. And as soon as we get going, you're like, you forget the cameras are on, you forget we're rolling.
Yeah.
And I knew that, I felt strongly that was going to come up at Red Table. And so we meet everybody, we hug everyone, we sit down. And now I'm thinking there's going to be a little bit of like surface talk here. Like, just like intro, keep it light, icebreaker stuff.
Jada went right into it.
She went right into it. Like, we sat down, she's like, okay, so tell us about you guys. And I was like, oh, wow, like we're rolling. Like, okay.
And I think you even answered very like, no.
Yeah, I didn't think we were like going like that.
And then when you realized we were.
I think I looked at you and I was like, oh, shit, we're rolling right now. But yeah, so, and it's it's like the worst question to ask us. So tell us about you. It's like, where do we start? Where do we begin? Like, how much time do you have? So I don't even remember what that answer was, actually. I remember something about Instagram and sliding in DM.
Yeah, it wasn't a good start. So I would be surprised if they keep that part.
Hopefully they cut that part out. But then, we got into it, and I don't actually remember exactly like the deep
flow.
Conversation start.
Yeah, I mean,
you
guys will have to watch.
Yeah, I don't really remember, but I had so much faith that you were going to deliver. And when Jada was asking you questions, and Gammy and the therapist and Sharon, everyone was asking you stuff, you answered so well. And you had these great, articulation of the traumatic experiences and how our trauma bonds are showing up today and how we're working through it. And you were just like firing away like left and right. And I remember because
I don't even remember.
Yeah, because Shay, if you haven't noticed, and as you can see right now, Shay always has to touch something when we're filming. when she's nervous, even when we're having like hard conversations. So I had my hand on your leg. So I was like, go ahead, here's my hand, do whatever you got to do, fidget away. And there were so many times where you were still, and I was like, oh wow, like she's good, like no one else knew. We're under the table. I'm like, wow, like okay, cool.
She's not playing with her.
No, like she's totally fine. I was like, great, maybe I was overthinking it for her. And should we talk about how you almost fainted now, or?
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah,
That's
sure.
all.
I almost passed out.
Yeah, there was a moment where I remember when I was talking with Jada, I had like a outer body experience where I was like, wow, I'm actually like feeling relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in conversation at that time, and then it got directed to you and you started talking, and I even had something to say in that moment, and I was like, I was waiting for you to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And literally it was the thought of me thinking of how relaxed I felt that I then felt something in my chest happen, like with my heart, I'm assuming. And after that, I just felt like something doesn't feel right with my body.
Mm-hmm.
And it was to the point where I'm like, do I ask for water? Do I stop like us recording and like take a break? Or do I take my chances and hope nothing happens? And I remember I got so fidgety where I had my right leg crossed over my left. Yeah. And then I switched and I was like, I just needed to focus on my breathing. And I started to focus on my breathing. And I remember looking to the side and I'm like, well, if I fall, I'd probably fall over there. And I legit thought like, there's probably a high possibility I'm going to faint right now. And I couldn't understand it because I'm like, I finally felt good.
Yeah.
And that's when I think I told you, I ended up not fainting, by the way.
And also, by the way, you would never know this. I promise you, I can't wait to see it. Like,
I wonder if I'm going to be able to spot the moment that it happened.
Yeah, maybe if they even leave it in. But I remember like when you told me you almost passed out, like legit, I was shocked. I'm like, what? Like you were totally fine. So yeah, you would never know.
I felt something in my chest, and then I felt like I got really like, I don't know. I can't even explain it. Like I felt like I just felt like I was going to pass out if I didn't focus on my breathing. And in that moment, I was like, even while I had something to say, I then was like, I hope nobody asks me a question right now. Because anything that's going to spark my heartbeat, to increase, like I'm done. I'm out. Like it's for sure I'm going to pass out.
Yeah.
So instead I was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything anymore. I'm going to focus on my breathing and try to like center myself again.
Mm-hmm.
But you made a good point after when I told you. I was like, so you're like, babe, you did so good when we were done. And I was like, I almost fainted. And you're like, what? When? And then I told you how I felt. And you said that it was probably the moment that I was probably working off of my adrenaline. And the moment I relaxed, which is what I felt, I relaxed, is when I had no adrenaline.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was like almost 3:00. I hadn't eaten anything. I was super nervous. Yeah. But I came home and I knocked out.
Yeah. I was like, you should probably take a nap. Just relax.
And I don't take naps. So that was like just beyond exhausted.
Yeah. But I mean, it was, again, I can't wait to see what they leave in because it wasn't anything noticeable. And again, I know you better than they do. And I couldn't notice anything at all. So again, we won't talk too much, I guess, about the actual episode itself. You guys can watch it. I don't know. At this point, we're filming this 3 days before it comes out, so I don't know what they left in or what they took out. But I will say that after the episode, we had quite a bit of time there with Jada and Gammy, and we were talking to them for a while. They were just so kind, and mind you, Jada, Gammy, Cheryl Burke, and the therapist that they had on did not get up to use the restroom, to drink water, to eat anything for probably
I mean,
3
11
plus hours?
12, 1, 2, yeah.
Like 3+ hours. Like they only got up to greet the guests and they sat right back down. So, I mean, they easily could have been like, okay, thanks for coming. See ya. I got to pee. I got to drink some water. I got to eat. Like, you know, and they were just so patient and so, again, just very warm, which, you know, you never really know, you know, how people are going to be. And I was pleasantly surprised and just blown away by the courtesy that they gave us and how much of like a safe space, excuse me, as much as a safe space as they gave us, because we talked about arguably the heaviest stuff we've ever shared on camera. And I felt like we were sitting on this couch. I honestly did. And it was just, it was great. So yeah.
I remember one of the last things you said was like, babe, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You faced one of your fears. I was like, I didn't want to face that fear.
Yeah. We got up from the table and everyone's being like demiked and they're shutting off the cameras and stuff. Producers are coming on set. And I took Shay to the side and was holding her and I was like, yeah, I'm so proud of you. Like I was almost not shocked, but in awe of how I was saying this earlier. Like I felt like I was witnessing someone face their biggest fear live. And how often do you really get to see that? If you think about it,
it's a true story.
You know, so, and then not only am I a witness to it, but then you did such a great job. I'm like, damn, like you did it, you know, like as if I jumped out of the plane, you'd be the same way. Like, babe, you did it. Like,
so
see,
should I book that?
No, we're
first?
not. No, we're not doing that. But
why? I faced a fear for you.
You know what I'm saying? It's
what
just.
What fear are you going to face for me?
Anyways, we'll figure that out later.
See how this works?
I had a fear of marriage. And I'm
Come
still here.
on.
And I'm still here.
Come on.
Okay, fellas know what I'm talking about. Fellas know what I'm talking about.
I had a fear of marriage too.
And we're doing it.
No.
We're doing
There's
it.
another fear you need to face for me.
Okay. Well, I'm facing this fear every day. So, anyways.
I am too, so. Another one.
But yeah, it was just like, I was just so proud. And, you know, I think too, for me, seeing you and like this, how do I explain it? Like, ultra human side of you, you know, because you're a very prideful person, very independent, you know, you rarely ask for help. You're I would consider you a prepared person. So all to say that when all that goes out the window and you're humble to say the least, and you know your guard is completely down, it was such a human experience that I had with you that I don't think I've really had that before. So that was another cool thing that I got to see. So, you know, added to the list of just the incredible experience that was, and just so happy that we were able to do it together. For sure.
Me too.
Are you excited to see it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I really don't remember some of the stuff I said.
Guess I blacked out during
80%
80% of the talk, but yeah. Yeah. What was your favorite thing about that day? Or that experience, I guess?
I think I was like really excited for you because I knew how much that meant to you and everything that you've worked so hard for.
Yeah.
So to be able to see you on that kind of platform, I was like really excited and I didn't want to disappoint. So I think it added to my nerves on top of me just being nervous because I'm a private person and public speaking, you know, all of that stuff. But I think I also wanted to like do well for you.
Yeah, and you, again, just like this experience and that conversation, you know, because I had been thinking about it since we found out we were going to be on, which I think was probably 10 days of a gap every single day for majority of the days. And when we got done, I remember thinking and feeling like this could not have went any better. Like if we could do it all over again, I would have been like, no, just leave that. Like that was best case scenario. I think my favorite thing about that day was the feeling I got at one point of being in the house. And I remember feeling like I was telling myself, like,
You're like, it was all a dream.
Yeah. yeah. No. I just remember feeling like, man, I deserve to be here. Like we deserve to be here. We're worthy of this opportunity. All the hard work, to your point, like paid off. I've said this like a broken record, but if someone's new here, I run this whole show. I mean, I do it all, from hosting to pre-calls to outlines to finding guests to editing to the camera work to you name it, coming up with topics. And it's exhausting. It's very draining. It's also the life I chose. I'm grateful for it, but it's just a lot of work. And I, felt like, damn, like if someone would have told me 2 years ago when I started this show, like if you do all of this, here's your reward at the end. Oh man, I'd have been like, no problem. And again, the best thing for me that day was just like living in that moment for me was like, because I don't really do that a lot. I don't really celebrate personal accomplishments or achievements. I'm like, cool, what's next? And I was like, the hell with that. I'm going to like do this today. For 24 hours, I'm here and I'm proud of me. So that was the best thing about my day. And then second best thing was, again, just like having that experience with you. Again, it was a top 3 experience moments, whatever you want to call it, for me, from us. Definitely. Like something I'll never forget, just the union that we had and the bond and it was just really special.
Yeah.
All right. So
let us know what you think.
Yeah, go watch the episode. It's on Facebook. And yeah, let us know what you think. You can come back here and comment or DM us, whichever you feel is best. And let us know how we did. Let us know if you could spot when Shay almost passed out, which I challenge you, because I'm going to be surprised if I can even find it. That's how well you hit it. And until next time, it's good to be back.
You haven't had an episode?
No. I haven't had an episode with a guest since Micah, which I believe was in August.
Wow.
So it's been a very long time. So it's good to be back.
Golf, you guys. Blame it on golf.
You heard the intro.
Blame it on golf.
You know what it is.
Blame it on golf.
It's not just golf.
It's golf.
It's not just golf. But yeah.
It's always golf.
This is obviously a personal matter for Shay.
Golfina.
Yeah, Golfina. Listen, it could be worse. There's a lot of dudes out here doing the wrong thing. Any woman right now watching be like, I wish all my guy did was golf. Gambling addictions, cheating addictions. I'm just out here hitting the links.
Golf addictions.
I'm out here hitting the links. It is what it is.
You were washing your
And
balls
it's bringing,
the other day.
It's bringing us money.
Friday night was you washing your balls. Not those balls.
I was cleaning my golf balls. Taking care of it. I care. I care. It's bringing us money.
All right, I'm done.
Some of the last couple of jobs I've had from modeling are golf jobs. Thank you very much.
He's going to be a professional golfer. You guys watch. Just watch.
Hey, after we were on Red Table Talk, I'm here to say never, because I did not think that was going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, there you go.
It
so
did.
2 years from now, you're going to be asked to play a tournament.
Great.
In the professional league of
Great.
golf.
100% PGA. That would be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Okay, I'm done.
All right.
I'm tired.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for having me.
See you next time.